Crypto.com Crowcoin holders, we're back in the studio. We got to be talking about where Crowcoin is headed here. So without further ado, welcome back to Crypto Report. I'm Blacksea. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel now. Anything I say is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Let's hop into this video. All right, guys, we're going to start off here on Twitter. Follow me at 333 Blacksea. I say, will Crow go to? Will Crow go to? Will Crow go to 0.212 before $1? Let me in the comments below. What do you guys think? Because I will say, yes, I still am in my Crowcoin long position. My stop loss is at 212. We are significantly in the profit. I've taken a majority profit. We'll look at that later. But I do think that it's starting to look like potentially we will come and tap that level. So let's take a look at that right now. We can see that we saw this big impulse wave to the upside to 40 cents when we were getting all the bullish news. And right now, we've been just kind of chopping sideways. And I do think that I did say, though, a couple days ago here when we saw this green candle, I said, you know, this does look like we're starting to bottom out. And guys, I said, there's always invalidations, right? And the invalidation would be as if we broke down and came and tested 212. But I did say, yes, will I get stopped out in my long position if we tap 212? Yes, I will. But will I open up another long around that area? Most likely, yes, especially if we're moving into Q4 and depending on when and or if we do tap that level at 212. Because I do think that this is a very important area of interest for Crowcoin. And if you are trading it, if you're trying to high leverage scalp it or you're trying to just catch some longs, I think there's probably a good area of interest. There's good opportunity, right? Not financial advice. There's good opportunity, in my opinion. And I'm not a financial advisor, right, guys? I'm just telling you guys how I'm viewing this market. I do think that 212 is a appropriate area of interest. And like I said, I'm still long. I went long at about 15.5 cents around this level. And we saw a massive move to the upside all the way up to 40 cents. And I caught a massive gain. And I got significant profits, okay? But I took my profit. I still hold my spot Crow. I got spot other altcoins. We're talking about Crow right now. I still have my spot Crow. And I do think, though, that there's definitely a chance here where we do grind out and tap 212, and that's where my stop loss is, so I'll get stopped out significantly in the profit, okay? But it's possible, and it's looking more so now that will play out than it did before, because I did think that it did seem like we were starting to bottom out here, but, guys, I know I sound like such a broken record, but September 17th, expect volatility. Expect moving into that time frame, we see a lot of wonky price action, okay? I expect a lot of wonky price action. And that being is maybe this turns into a little bit of a bear trap and we break down below, we tap this, or maybe we even see a wick below it and then something like that. Like that'd be very on par with where or how this market has been acting and where I think we are headed towards in Q4 where there should be a lot of volatility. So am I still in my long trade on Crowcoin? Yes. Am I still significantly in the profits? Have I taken profit? Yes and yes. Do I think that there's going to be more opportunity if we come and tap 212? Yes, and I'm looking to long again if I do get stopped out. That being said, there's a world here where we don't tap 212. It really is going to depend on, really this week is going to be an important week, but I do think that it's going to be sideways chop for the next week leading up to Jerome Powell opening up his yapper, open up that yap box. And once he starts doing that, then I think that will be when we start to see some big volatility. But if you guys do want to trade right now or prepare to trade this volatility, feel free to check out in the pinned comment section or description box below. We have a $100,000 deposit bonus to BitToNext as well as $10 for free when you sign up. And on Blowfin, we have a 10% trade rebate and a $5,000 sign bonus. Guys, take advantage of these sign-up bonuses, these promotions. It helps support this channel as well as, guys, there's some lucrative bonuses to take advantage of, especially if you're a trader, you want to learn how to trade, take advantage of these bonuses, guys. All right, so Bitcoin's around 115K. Into the weekend, we saw a little bit of a rally, right? We saw a little bit of a move to the upside. Bitcoin dominance is slowly grinding down right now. I don't think this is anything to write home about just yet. We're sitting at about 57%. We exclude stablecoins. We're basically at like 59.5-ish percent. But I do think that a lot of this price action right now is noise. And I think that you're going to see the further continuation of the upside after we make our way through this big volatility spike that will come on the 17th, where Jerome Powell starts talking about rate cuts, talking about quantitative easing, because it's really going to set us up for what's to come for Q4. And Q4 is a very, very important time frame for crypto and the traditional market. You got the Santa Claus rally in the traditional market. You've got potentially rate cuts, right? Like it's a pivot time. It's also in the Q4 is when all the companies spend the rest of their money on their ad spend. There's a lot going on Q4, and it's important to be aware of that. So I do think that Bitcoin dominance is nothing to write home about just yet. I think that probably will bounce even into the end of September or into the FOMC meeting, but after that, then I think that after the 17th, moving into October, we're going to get a more clear idea of where this market's headed and just when it's going to happen and how crazy it's going to be. Because I still believe that we're going to see altcoin season in Q4, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is, guys, and I do bet on that, right? So looking at Cronos, we're at rank 21, down about 8% in the past 7 days, down about 3% in the past 24 hours. Weekend price action, guys. Expect weird sell. The order books are thin, okay? It's easy to push the market up. It's easy to push the market down. Weekend price action is not to be traded for the faint of heart. I'll say that. But we're sitting at an $8 billion market cap for Cronos, dipping below 25 cents. It's pretty important. That's why I do think, like, if you look at this, like, especially on the daily time frame, this does look like it wants to come and tap 212. This would be a very important area of interest. Do I think it's going to come lower? Probably not, as long as Jerome's not being super hawkish and bearish, which I doubt he will be. So I do think that, like, yes, we could tap 212, but coming below it, probably not so much. But if you look at Bitcoin right now, we're continuing to rally here, and it looks like it's bottomed out with a little bit of a bear trap below 110,000, the previous breakout point, and now we're rallying here. The most important thing for me to stay bullish on Bitcoin in the short term is really to close above 116,000. I'll tell you what, though, I don't really like to see this red daily candle right now opening and treating 116K as resistance, because that could look something like that, and that would make this a lower high, my friends. And if it's a lower high, then we're probably in for some more longer sideways price action, maybe even bleeds into Q4. But guys, what happens in the fourth and final phase of the bull market cycle? It is the most choppy, volatile price swings, okay? But it has the most gains. It has the most trappy price behavior. Bear trap after bull trap. It just happens, like, it just happens and happens and happens, like, over and over and over again. So be prepared, like, because if I were looking at this and we weren't in the fourth and final phase of the cycle, I'd be saying, yeah, like, this probably looks like a good short, probably a little short scalp. But because we're moving into the FOMC meeting and we're in the fourth and final phase of the bull market cycle, I say, yeah, be careful on shorting this, because it might do something like that. Okay, yeah, this might be just a little bit of a sideways cool off before the meeting, right? So pay attention, guys. Be careful if you're trying to short. Right now, I'm long on a lot of different coins. I'm long on Crowcoin. I'm long on Solana. I've been trading XRP, and I'm gonna be patiently waiting to see how Jerome treats the markets with his words, because he is basically the guy that is going to be pushing us here, especially if we don't get those rate cuts. And if we do get those rate cuts, I even expect some volatility, but I don't really expect a big, massive move to the upside immediately unless it's a 0.5 rate cut instead of a 0.25. But all in all, got to pay attention, guys. I think Crowcoin's getting ready to make some big moves. I think 212 before $1 is very possible, especially if Jerome wants to be hawkish. But if not, then I think we're probably going to be making our moves to the upside. I'm probably going to be raising my stop loss. But that's all I got. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel right now. Check out all those awesome affiliate links down below. I'll see you next one. Bye-bye.